Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. Today we're taking a look at something that I've already covered a little bit about in the update video last time, or 2 weeks ago, which is the Varys Awakening. I've had several people asking me about why I think it's actually a huge important factor in the game and why it's actually potentially worth investing into, and all these things we are taking a look at in deeper detail in this video because I want to clarify what my thought process behind it was when I said it in the update video. So that's going to be the main focus of this video today. So to go further into the discussion and to understand my thought process better, we are going to take a look at the basic stats of Varys right now here, and then later on we're going to take a look at how these stats basically affect the other parts of the game. But basically, Varys is a free-to-play commander, focusing around spear attack, research speed, and fortification defense, which is, for newer accounts, it's pretty decent, and for later accounts, older accounts, it's still something that's somewhat useful as well, because it has a major importance in terms of how fast you can actually research through stuff. But these are basically his basic standard stats, and you can see when he's maxed out he gives basically 25% research speed and 30% spear attack. And if we look at the Awakening, it's basically a similar process as everything else. There's 2 stages where you can upgrade the active skill, 2 stages where it's basically cooldown, max level from the commander, friendship increase, which is also something that's super important, enhanced specialization, and then of course the Awakening skill. Hidden ability effects, which we also covered a little bit about in the updated video, are focused around defense for spearman, fortification attack, fortification construction, and research speed. Something that's worth noting, for Varys at least, in terms of Awakening, is that the spearman defense is a passive bonus, which means that it's unlocked the moment you basically unlock it, and then it's on your account, and you don't have to send the commander out. The same applies to research speed and the other aspects of his Awakening, but the main important stats are the spearman defense and the research speed for this particular video. Since we've halfway through, you can see that basic and max he will have 18% spearman defense and 10% extra research speed. This of course means that he will get a combined of 35% research speed once basically fully maxed out. And then when we look at his Awakening skill, which you can see here, is also a passive skill, which is basically that research speed is increased by 20%. and research resource cost reduced by 10%. And this part here is basically the very important bit that we're going to focus on, because this means that Varys, as a free-to-play early commander, basically gives you a 55% research speed, which is huge for new accounts, and also gives you passive spear stats in terms of defense, which is also great for new accounts, also great for older accounts of course. And then a lot of people complain about that basically Awakening skill wasn't worth investing into, because even though he only costs elite general tokens, which are easier to get, it's still a very costly investment. But for various reasons, because of the 10% cost reduction, it's going to be, in my opinion, a very important tool, even for old accounts, but especially for new accounts, to actually try and unlock this as soon as possible. But we're going to take a look at some other parts that he's also affecting when unlocking him and awakening him. Now we're going to take a look at the Tavern Stats to gradually get an idea of why he's very important for both, at least for early accounts in this aspect, in terms of awakening. The main thing about Varys is that he's one out of two to three commanders or something like that has basically is free to play, but also gives leadership. And leadership is super costly in the sense that it increases your army size and rally size, and that's something that's really highly valuated even for lower newer accounts, because it basically allows you to advance and hit things that are bigger than you in terms of rebuild leaders and rebuild castles and so on faster. And then of course aptitude of course gives you a bunch of speed ups whenever you have basically taken it from the tavern. And the finance is basically just the gold that you get from it. But Varys, as you can see, is basically, once he will get him awakened to 2-star. He will have these stats. He will have 6 aptitude, 5 finance, and 3 leadership. And you can see here below that leadership kind of is at 162, which basically means that from his leadership alone you will get a 4,860 army size increase and a 16,200 rally size increase, which is huge for free to play. And his aptitude as well helps you speed up in terms of resources, not the resource, research and getting things done faster. So I think that because he is such one of the few commanders that actually gives you rally size and army size, he's very important and could be a candidate to one of the first commanders you should awaken and focus on getting to gold and 4-star awaken on a new account, because it basically allows you to increase your account faster and make it stronger as well. And now we're taking a look at, or focusing around, the awakening skill itself and see how much of an important factor it can actually have in the game, both for old accounts and new accounts, but mainly focusing around new accounts, of course. If you take a look on the formation skill tree, you can see that there are a good chunk of researches that are basically available so that you can actually research and do. And once you click on it, you can also see the cost for said researches. But if you take in the fact that you get the 10% resource cost reduction from this research alone, you basically get a 28% or 28 million grain reduction. You will get a 5.7 million wood reduction, get a 7.6 million stone reduction, a 15.3 million iron reduction, and a 15.8 million gold reduction. And you might actually think, okay, 10%, that's not a lot, but when you look at how many researchers are just in this tree alone, you could basically say that this could change the idea of billions of resources actually being saved up for newer accounts that are starting and having the Varus Awakening very early on. And actually also with the 20% or 55% total research speed that you get, you also can see here, you could basically cut away tons of days, maybe even weeks, and speed up the growth of your account much faster. And with the resource, or with the additional speed up that you get from, or speed up reduction that you get from the research benefits, basically makes it so that you want to do your researches more often, which means that you're having to use more grain or more resources, which means that if you don't have the cost reduction at that time, it might actually slow down your progress. You might actually be able to get research speed at such a fast level that you can hammer through the researches faster than you can actually accumulate the resources for it. Because right now we have refinement, we have equipment, we have commanders, we have awakening, we have so many options to actually increase the research potential of accounts, that if you really focus on it, that you can basically speed run through the entire game. And that's where I personally believe that having these the resource reduction cost on Varus Awakening is something that's super important. Also for future, where some of the bigger accounts might be able to be done with the researchers, you might be able to basically hoard speed ups, but that means that once a new research tree basically comes out, you end up maybe having a bunch of speed ups that you're able to use to actually speed through the research tree. But if you don't have the resources for it, then that 10% cost resource cost reduction might actually make it so that you're able to get through the research tree very fast if you don't have tons of farms that actually can accumulate resources in it. But this was kind of like my idea and my thought process to why I personally said in the update video that Varus Awakening is actually worth investing in for newer accounts and potentially also for older accounts. Hope you liked the video. Like and comment if you want to, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and of course, if you have more things you want me to debate or elaborate, I'm open to always do it if you put down a suggestion to it, of course. If you want to play the game, the link is down in the description below. So it is for the Game of Thrones Discord group, as well as the channel where I get my music from. So hit him a like and a subscribe as well, because he's a great guy and does a lot for the community. So yeah, that was all from me today. Hope you all have a great weekend. Have a nice AC playoffs if you're in the playoffs, and yeah, see you all next week. Bye bye.